Hi, Tracy Grits here. And today we're going to be discussing the messiness of marriage. That's the topic for today, which is the messiness of marriage. Um, when, how to navigate. Hi, Pammy. Hi, Cindy. Hey, girls. Hi. I'm glad you got on right on time because I'm starting the story. So people who come in the middle are going to be like, but I think I'll get it. Okay, so how do you navigate the messiness of marriage, especially, hi, Pauline, especially hurt feelings and anger? And of course, life is always given me topics for Line Living Live. Some of them, hi, right, love you too. Some of them are not as pretty as other ones. So this one is not as pretty, and it was actually pretty painful while we were going through it. And I feel that it would be helpful to have to share this because this is always the point of a Line Living Live is that I am doing my life live. That this is the stuff that we go through all the time. And these are the things that cause us pain. And we can either do the pain awake and stepping into the highest version of ourselves, or, well, that's my first choice, is to do it in love. So let me just get down. So I'm going to tell you the story. And as I tell you the situation, I'm also going to narrate throughout it. And as you listen, I want you to listen for how does this apply to me? Where do I see this? Because if you're in any sort of relationship, it doesn't have to be marriage. It could be dating somebody, committed to somebody. It can be your own kids. It doesn't matter. What I'm going to share with you is still very relevant. So listen for how this applies for you. And if you notice something, definitely type it in because what you notice, other people will notice as well. And it gives other people the freedom, right? So, okay. So here's what happened. It was Sunday evening, and we got a call from a renter of our rental house who it can be a little snarky. Oh my gosh, hold on, Olivia. I just have to pause. God, so much love to you. Oh my God, in the Netherlands. Holy cow. Mwah. I love you. I love everybody. And Olivia, I love you so much. I know you're laughing right now. I can just hear you. Okay, so this is what happened. On Sunday, my husband got a call from our renter, or text. It was a text. Got a text from our renter that said, um, the washer and dryer aren't working. And we've had issues with it. And so he was probably pretty fed up with it, but he said he'd fixed it. So there we go. So he texted my husband and then he said, and then my husband asked him some questions. What size? Can you give us the dimensions again? Blah, blah, blah. And he says, and I'm sitting right there and he says, can you believe the renter? This is what he said. He said something along the lines of, I've already given you this information. I've already told you this information, shared this information with you. So like, that was about 3 months ago. So I just kind of laughed it off. Like, I guess he's in a cranky mood, somebody not happy. But my husband was pissed, not happy. So whatever. So he was dealing with it as he does. This is a rental house and he does most of the dealings with the rental house. And then I called him later. I had to go to my mom's. I called him later and asked him a question. He said, you are not going to believe what the renter texted me. Now, this is important because what I'm doing, hi, Sharon, what I'm doing is I am sharing with you a person's perspective. So as you're listening for this, so this guy felt like this text was very aggressive to Larry. So how would you react? This is the narration part. If you were in a relationship and your significant other felt like something was aggressive or you heard it and you felt it was aggressive, how do you react? Do you say, oh my gosh, do you go to their protective mode? Or do you go to, I don't want them to make a scene? These are messages for yourself. So I'm going to tell you a story, but you're going to be living through the story through your lens. You are going to be experiencing the story through your experiences, through your past, through your lens. So how my husband and I react to it will be familiar. But I want you to hear for if this happened, how would you be feeling? So then when he calls me and when we're calling, he said the renter texted me and said, "You want to I do not appreciate basically this text." And he went off on Larry and said, "Hey, you know what? Um, you can try to make my life miserable. I'll make your life miserable." And Gene, and I do not appreciate. Not even I appreciate. I can make this rental house miserable. I'll be out of here in a New York minute. I'll do this. I'll do that. I'll do this. It was kind of this kind of email. And so Larry's reading this email to me, and I said, "Well, what did you text?" It wasn't an email, it was a text. "What did you text to him?" He said, "I just texted him that if he's not happy, just leave." So now we've got two dudes, right? Two people, not two dudes, two people who are just going at it, who are both feeling angry at each other, and they're both holding their ground, and they both got their fists up in the air via text. So now I'm hearing this, right? I'm the wife, I'm hearing this, and I'm like, here's my reaction. Again, how would you react? What would your feelings be? My reaction at first was, oh my gosh, there's going to be a blow up, and there's fear for me. And I want everybody to get along. I want everybody to play nicely. Let's just all like each other. That's my first thing. And now I'm like, okay. So I noticed this about myself. I am a recovering pleaseaholic, as as I share openly. Okay, so there's that. So now I'm like, okay. And I also know that this experience is happening for all of us, all parties involved. I know that this is the truth. And so I say to him, so now I'm no longer afraid. Now, however it rolls out, however it plays out, and it's okay. So I say to him, just pause on that. Why don't you just wait on responding for 24 hours? You can cool off. My husband was not having any of that. He's like, I'm totally fine with it. How dare he text me that? How dare, up. And so now he has blasted me. And now I know I can see the writings on the wall. The writings on the wall that I am not supporting my husband. That is one of our dances. That's probably the main dance that we have. Now, again, what is your dance? I want you to listen for yourself as well. So now I'm navigating in my mind, oh my gosh, now he's going to hear that I'm not supporting him. So now, is there something I can do? So now I want to go to the pleasing mode. No. So I lovingly say to myself, Tracy, no. What you're doing is this is in my truth, right? I am not emotionally engaged in this. So I can say to him, hey, everybody's emotionally charged right now. And I think you should wait 24 hours. What if you wait 24 hours? Even though I'm knowing that me standing in that truth is going to trigger Larry to feel defensive. So I'm knowing the blast and the thoughts that he's going to get, but I cannot protect him from his feelings. I cannot protect him from his beliefs. Those are his. And my truth is my truth, and his truth is his truth, okay? Whatever that is, in that moment with the highest level of awareness that we have. So he was pissed about it, said, fine. And then the next day, so that was Sunday evening. Again, I know I'm giving you the story, and I'm also narrating through it. Sunday morning, we wake up and I said, hey, honey, can we talk about yesterday? Fine. Oh, so much opportunity for growth. So I explained to him. So he says, so now he says, how you did not support me. I do everything for this house. I manage it. I make sure the property's fine. I do it all. And how dare you come in to say what he did was so wrong, and he should never have talked to me like that. So I say to him, so not with a laugh. I say to him, so it sounds to me like you're feeling very unsupportive. Like you're feeling like I'm not supporting you. He said, you are not supporting me. It's not like it's not a feeling, it's the fact. You are not supporting me. And I said, okay, so we can do this I said, Larry, first of all, I love you with all my heart. And I don't want to say I'm not supporting you. I said, I have a perspective on it. I'm trying to navigate, right? It's messy, okay? This is the mess I'm trying to navigate through. And it's not pretty sometimes. So he's blasting me. I'm realizing, and I know this is Larry's defensiveness. By the way, he totally gave me permission to share this story. Hi, Melissa. I did ask Larry if I could share this story. He's like, oh, fine, honey, go ahead. So he's pissed. He's telling me I'm this, I'm that, I don't support him, I'm this, I'm that, and I've been hit with him for 32 years, right? So I say, okay, honey, and I'm doing the best I can. I'm all a mess inside, and hi, beautiful. And so I say to him, honey, we can navigate this two ways. One way is we can get on the same page, we can work together as a team through this, which is my favorite, because I love you. And I want to be able to do this together as a team with you and me supporting with the two of us being loving and supportive of each other. The other way it can roll, which it has many times in the past, which is you're pissed. You go do it by yourself because you're mad at me. I'm not being supportive, or whatever it is, whatever's going on at that time. And then over time, and then I give you your space because I know you have to move through it. So I can give you the space to go through that. And it might take a few days, space. And then eventually we'll laugh about something and it will be bygones. That's not my favorite, I said to him, because I love to be connected to you. So for that time that we're not connected, it's not fun for me, and I know it's not fun for you. So what do I get? Just pissed. So I'm like, okay. So I'm like, one of the things I say to myself is, what does love do here? This is, okay, I'm just telling you what I'm sharing. I'm like, okay, so how does love navigate this? So I go meditate and I go down to talk to him, to explain to him. And I'm explaining to him. I said, hey, honey, can we talk a little bit further? He says, fine. And I say, here's how I see us. You're on one side, I'm on the other. And in between us is the magic. In between the two of us is the perfect, beautiful place. And I gave him an example of when I was a mess about doing some caregiving stuff with handling some of the caregivers. I felt I was handling it the right way, and Larry was really challenging me on it. But there's a piece of me that knew Larry's really good at that stuff. Larry's really good at business and managing people. You know what? I'm a recovering pleaseaholic, so managing people is sometimes challenging for me. Hands up to that. So even though I was thinking he was wrong, I was pissed about it. I was frustrated. I was feeling like he wasn't supporting me. He didn't understand. He didn't understand my side. Okay. I could also know that there was a small part of me that realized, that remembered, that chose. This is awareness that chose, when I was going through all that trouble with the caregivers, that chose to remember that he's actually really good at managing people. He has no emotion invested in it. I had tons of emotion invested in it, and he walked me through it. It took probably 45 minutes for me to wrap my brain around what my husband was saying when it came to managing these caregivers. He was patient with me through it, and I stayed stuck with it. And at the end, I realized, oh my God, I totally see what he's saying. And navigated the caregivers perfectly. It took me 45 minutes to get through my own feelings. He's wrong. He doesn't hear me, blah, blah, blah. But we worked at that was it. So I gave him this analogy about how he's very good at that. He had no emotional investment. And then I brought this up. This is where I have no emotional investment in this renter, in this situation. And I'm not being in support of him or not of support. I'm just seeing the situation as it is. And that, of course, I love him. So he's still pissed at me. So right now, he's still really frustrated. He's still but it feels real. Now here is our dance. You ready for it? Well, we know what Larry's dance is. Larry's dance is, You don't support me. Even though he has had millions of experiences of me supporting him. Millions in 32 years. That is his part of his dance. Part of my dance is you're going to pick your anger and frustration over me. No matter what I do, no matter how I say it, it's never enough. That's my dance. That's my story. That is my past. That is my history. And this is the dance we start to play. And as we're standing in the kitchen and he says to me, you did not support me. And I realize, it's like this wave of, oh my. So he said, this is how I feel. You are not supporting me. So I said to him, hey, I know that's how you feel, because right now, how I feel, my feelings, I know I'm getting all into it, right? Now people, listen, tears streaming down my face, how I feel. And I said, I know this is bullshit. I know this is not true, but how I feel is that you love your anger more than you love me. Because if you would calm down and just remember that I love you, if you loved me enough to remember that I love you and that I support you, you wouldn't be here. It means to me that you don't love me enough. That's the way it feels inside of me. That's what my feelings are saying. And I know that's not true. But my feelings say that. But I'm choosing to remember, this is not true, Tracy. This is not true. Your husband loves you very much. And him thinking that I'm not supporting him in this moment, because in 99% of the moments in our relationship, he's like, oh my God, you're the most supportive wife I can ever ask for. He has said these words to me. But I said, so Larry, I am totally feeling like you don't love me enough. Like no matter how hard I try, it's never enough. These are my stories. And I said, this is an opportunity for the two of us to have a different dance right now. And I said, this is really important. Hi, Jim. Hey. I said, I am doing this. I am choosing my love for you right now. I am choosing my love for you, for us. And I said it again, I'm choosing my love for us. And then I stopped myself. Again, tears. I mean, this is no easy test. This is so messy, so not pretty. And then I stopped myself and I said, Larry, that's not true. I'm not choosing love that I love. I'm not choosing to remember that I love you. I'm not choosing love for you. I'm choosing love for me. I said, I'm choosing to feel love for you, to know the truth of, I'm choosing to feel inside me that I know that you love me. I know that you know that I support you, and that you are not choosing your anger over me. It looks like that, but I know how much you love me. And I'm choosing to remember that for me, not for you. I'm going to pause for a minute. Why is this important? Because what anybody has to do, what that other person, we'll use Larry. If Larry continues to choose to say whenever he's pissed that it's my fault, I have a choice. I can stay with him or I can leave him. I always have a choice. I'm never a victim to the circumstance. Is that my favorite choice? Never. I'm certainly not going to make that choice in the moment. But I have a choice. I have freedom to choose. And I choose to know the truth. The truth is, he's a good guy. He's human. He's doing his humanness. Now let's back up. Let's say people hit people in love, right? Not in the frequency of love. They do bad things in love, in the name of love. They blow up countries in the name of love, or cities in the name of love. That's not saying just because somebody does something and we can see that was their version of love, doesn't mean we need to stick around. Doesn't mean we need to stay there for that. Doesn't mean we need to be okay with that. I'm not saying any of those things. Please make sure that you are always honoring yourself. And that's the difference, is that as we're going through it, I could say, as a person who honors myself, if this person who I'm living with continues to choose to think that I'm not being supportive every time we have an argument, I can take it, is that how I want to stay married? He's not wrong for that. Nobody's wrong for how we feel. It's my choice on, do I want to stay there? Is that my version of love? Is that my version of marriage? It may be, it may not be. So how did it wind up? You might be wondering. So I say this to him, right? And he just looks at me, thank goodness. Lucked out. He just looked at me and he said, and he walks over to me and he hugs me. And he said, oh my God, I forgot. Right, Tracy, this is my thing. I forgot. Yes, of course you're supporting me. Just because you don't agree with me doesn't mean you don't support me. He had those linked up. What do we as people, does that make sense? Am I making sense? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Hopefully I'm making sense. And it goes back to something that I think I talked about in the freedom of fear, freedom from worry, which is, what are we making that situation mean about us? He was making that I didn't agree with him and didn't say, hey, good job. Let's just, be aggressive back and forth with each other. Thank you. I'm like, okay. Anyway, he was making that mean that I was not being supportive, that I didn't believe in him, that I didn't have his back. That's what he was making that believe. These have no right. They're not linked. Is it linked that because he is not remembering in that moment that I'm overall very supportive of him, does that mean that he doesn't love me or he's choosing that over me? No. These are these meanings that we apply to something. Those were my hurt feelings. That was my hurt feelings. Is it true? Is it true that he wants to think I'm not supportive? That he believes that I'm not supportive? Not at all. 99%. Hey, honey, God, thank God you're so supportive of me. But when he's angry, there's anger. When he's angry, he could not see. Yes, he couldn't remember. He chose not to. He could. In the end, he ended up choosing to remember that. So that is the messiness, right, of marriage or relationships, period. The meaning that we assign to something and the pain that it causes us. And you always have choice. It doesn't feel like that. But in that moment, also what was going on is, oh my gosh, okay, what if he doesn't ever see this? I'm in fear. What if he doesn't ever see this? Then for the rest of my life, I'm going to be having my husband say whenever I don't completely agree with everything he's saying. I mean, there's times just like, we differ. That's okay. But when there's anger on his part, when he feels threatened, that's so key. When he feels threatened, it moves straight on into anger and that's it. And then nothing outside of full-on support looks supportive. So I'm in fear also. Okay, is this, how am I going to do this and now I'm telling myself, honey, I love you. You're okay. You don't have to worry about that right now. We're just going to deal with this situation right here. And you're going to do it in love. That's the way we're going to choose to do it. You love him. Remember, Trace, you love him and you love yourself. So let's honor you and honor him. And he doesn't have to be happy through this. It's okay. You can still do it with love and kindness. Now, I know you guys might think I'm just batshit crazy, but that is the stuff I'm saying to myself. Not that it's good, bad, or ugly, but it's very kind to me. It makes navigating these very messy waters far less painful. Far less painful, even though it was painful. So before I kind of give you the PS to all that, I want to just remind everybody that Align Living Live is every Tuesday at 1 p.m. unless something happens, my mom falls, whatever, whatever. If you would like more information, simply text the word Align, ALIGN, to 38470. You'll just get a text reminder if you want more information about Align Living. So again, text the word Align to 38470, and that will just give you a reminder on Tuesdays about it and what the topic is. And if you want to find out more about Align Living Live, go to my website, tracygritz.com, and there's a tab for Align Living Live. And if you like Align Living Live and it resonates for you and it speaks to you, please feel free to share the website, anything like that. The more we love together, the more we make a difference together. And there's that. So what is my PS to this? I'd like to know from you guys, and I think there's probably a delay somewhere along the way. I'd like to know from you guys if you can see where one of your dances, do you have a dance like my dance has been, no matter what I do, it's never enough, and you love your anger more than me, which is completely about my worth, and his is, I have to do it on my own, you don't support me. These are these dances that we do. And healing that, the journey is for us, has been healing those things within our own selves. I can't heal him, he can't heal me. It's my own, it's for me to see and for me to heal. So I can notice it, and then I can say, okay, oh, that's what that was. And of course I'm worthy. Of course these do not make, of course him being angry and forgetting that I'm supportive does not mean that he doesn't love me. That does not mean that I'm important. It reminds me of an addict. People say, oh, they just stopped drinking or stopped using. That if they loved me, they would just stop drinking or just stop using. But love and the drug have nothing in common. They're not together. The addict wants the drug. They still love the person. It's just that they need that drug. They can't think about life without that drug in that moment. So these are ways these are painful thoughts that really do hurt when we choose to believe them. But when we can open the box and put the light on the truth of it, the truth of that situation or the truth of whatever it is, it no longer has that power over us, that control over us, because it no longer is the truth. So that is my story about how marriage is really messy, and it's certainly not always easy. And I'm very willing to share the truth of it if it can make a difference at all. And I know that you make a difference. I know that you are here to make a difference, like everybody is. And that as you align to the inner truth that lives within you, to start to listen and start to see what's the BS in a story and what's the truth in a story, that's where the healing can take place. And I'm trying to think if there's anything left on that topic. I don't think there's anything left on that topic, fortunately. Oh, there is one part left. This was for me. I mean, everything, right, is for us to learn. But what I realized when I realized that moment of, oh, I'm not remembering, I'm not choosing to love you for you. And I said, I'm not choosing to remember to remember the love between us for you. Remember when I said I'm choosing to remember it for me, that I love you for me? because now I don't, because when I'm choosing to remember it for me, what it does is it fills me up. Oh, yes, here's a human being. Here's a human being in pain. He's in pain. He's hurting. This is hard for him. And of course, I don't want another person to be in pain. It is his. Can't do anything about that. Can't fix it. But here's another human being in pain. And from human to human, from pain to pain that I can see, of course, I love that and I honor it. I love that person. I honor that person. It doesn't have to just be my husband. It can be anybody. Doesn't mean that we have to allow bad behavior. We never have to allow bad behavior. But for me, right now, I'm standing in my own truth on it. I'm saying, okay, I choose love, and I can also choose to have this behavior be a part of my life or not be a part of my life. Very different things. I hope that makes sense. I know it's, I don't know if it makes sense. So anyway, always, 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 Tracy Gritz here. And it is with all my heart that I'm so grateful for you, for your time here, for your time with me, for your patience, for your journey, for everything. And no, always from my heart to yours. And I will see you next week on Align Living Live, Tuesday at 1. Bye-bye.